As I play games more and more, I've realised that the standard way of playing just doesn't really suit me. Much of the modern community dictates that linear adventures with a start, a middle and then an end is the best way to structure our adventures. And I think over the last few years especially, I've really took a step back to reflect on that. The truth is, I think railroading is boring. For the player and the Dungeon Master too. So why do DMs do it? It's because it's easy. It doesn't rely on anything apart from reading comprehension to follow a step-by-step plan to progress an adventure. Players go from A to B and then to C. No matter what they do, the decisions that they make. Some DMs run this style of adventures and adapt it as it progresses, which is pretty good, sometimes even great. It doesn't always solve the issue with how we are thinking about our games. So what is the problem? It's all to do with the illusion of choice. It's funny because I used to be a big supporter of this phrase, the illusion of choice. But it just doesn't really work for me anymore, especially as a player, which I've been doing more of recently, I think. The illusion of choice is simple. It's giving your players the belief that they can choose their fate when in fact, no matter what they do, they'll likely end up at the same destination. The fact is that we shouldn't be creating full adventures from start to finish, then playing them out in their entirety without making any changes. Our players are real people and they're going to think differently to us. We can never truly assume that they're going to do things exactly the way that we have done it. And I think one of the worst things as a player is being told that you can't do something because the DM isn't able to react to it. I was a player in a game several years ago, and the party, we wanted to travel to a different settlement because the location that we were at was boring and the people were not friendly. The DM literally turned around to us and said, sorry, you can't go anywhere else because I don't have it ready. Bro, we're playing a game of imagination. Just come up with something. Think about the worlds that you've played in for video games. Think about movies and books and stuff like that. Or, I don't know, just make the current location more interesting, I think railroading is boring, right? And I've already said this, but I think for most DMs, it's just laziness. Players will have much more fun if you run adventures based on their interests, their goals, and their group direction. This really is one of those things that I think applies to both modern and OSR players. Even, I think every single player likes doing quests that are in some way related to their characters. It gives a player buy-in and some sense of stakes. If one of your players is a blacksmith, having the blacksmith's guild, come and beg the party to kill goblins for them in the nearby mine before the guild goes completely bankrupt, that's definitely a motivator for the blacksmith, especially if the guild promises to make weapons and armor for the party upon completion. If your group are a party of religious zealots and they want to fight undead, don't make the only available quests for them to be fighting against goblins or giant rats or bandits. It's really not difficult to change the direction of a campaign unless you've decided to spend months perfectly creating everything in advance. And honestly, if you do that, you're a bit of an idiot because you're just expecting your players to be okay with doing exactly what you want, when you want it, how you want it. And I enjoy running adventures where I have a crossroad or a split in the narrative, where the player characters can make a choice of which direction they want to go. I leave that very open-ended and just have the miniatures and tokens ready to react to whatever they decide they want to do. You can easily adapt the content that you've prepared and change it from one scenario to another. If you create a gang lair in the sewers and for some reason the party decide to join forces with this gang, Instead of having the party sneak around the sewers, taking out the criminals and working their way to their leader, you can have the party and the criminals get attacked by the corrupt officials, the guards of the settlement, hell-bent on killing them all. You can use all of the same maps, the tokens, and even stat blocks too. Just adapt the narrative to suit the player's experience. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I've finally finished my Christmas break and I've successfully moved house with an infant. I should hopefully be back to making weekly videos on the channel again. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you can get some notifications on when those videos go live. I've got a really good video planned for next week, so hopefully you guys will all watch it. Make sure to join my Discord if you'd like to get involved in my community, and consider signing up to my Patreon to gain access to charts, tables, and all sorts of other things to level up your games. Blah, 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 blah. I'll see you guys next time on Loki's Lair. Until then.